All right. So I want to go into three things that you are going to love if you are currently in acquisitions, if you're looking to acquire a business, trying to become a deal maker. You're going to love what I talk about today. If you already are in a business and you're looking to increase your income, and especially if that business is either B2B or in the finance space. And you're really going to love this if you're somebody who has been trying to figure out, all right, how can I add a little income with a side hustle? So, what we're going to be talking about, I'll split it up into a few different kind of categories for you guys. The first one is I want to talk about this interesting intersection that's it's basically between business and finance, especially deal making and finance. And we'll go into this what obviously we do in Good Merger for some of you that are familiar with Good Merger and the origin of that and how I fell into that and now obviously it's become a very big part of what we do in a very big business. And now we're doing deals. A lot of not just seven-figure deals, like mid seven-figure deals. I think there's a difference. Like a lot of times when you say seven figures, it's like, oh, it's like $1 million deal. But we've got a few deals that are in the kind of high seven, so eight, $9 million, and a $12 million deal. So when we're working on those deals, I think it's just a very cool vantage point that you have to look into the financial world. The other thing that I want to chat a little bit about is this is alternative lending, which I think is going to become more important as we get further into what people are saying is going to be essentially a recession. And we're already seeing that. So from peer-to-peer lending and innovative kind of financial models, some of the other alternative sources of financing. When I talk about the people that join our Good Merger team, we've built relationships. We have 75 different lenders. We're always trying to get more. And, we also have investors and that kind of thing. And so it just increases the possibilities of getting deals done, which is the goal of all of this. And the more you understand that, then it just creates all of these opportunities. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then the last thing is the real game changer is understanding how to grow a merger specialist business and just uncover this art. Which has a portion of science, but it's really an art of being a merger specialist. And it's been really cool just seeing the growth of some of the specialists that have joined us recently. But I think that, it just lets you get into the middle. You kind of become the center of influence in between really cool, lucrative deals. Shout out to James in the middle of several multi-million-dollar deals, which, it's just high stakes. It's not that it's this easy thing, but, we try to put you in a position where you're growing up to being able to deal with those. But, just being that center of influence that's in between deals, these negotiations, coming up with strategies to close deals. I think all of those things it's just, to me, a lot of fun. So I think that it's a side hustle that can create a real fortune. So we'll talk through these. And if you're interested in stuff, reach out to Good Merger. We've got real life people that are out there doing these deals. And you get the opportunity to connect with them and learn not just from me, but from other folks that are finding their own strategy. So, let's go back to the beginning. I mentioned in the title that one of the ways that I launched this side of my business, which is kind of the investment banking side of what I do, is through building relationships. And I modeled it after Marcus Goldman. So Marcus Goldman started Goldman Sachs, what's now Goldman Sachs. And obviously it was a very different business back then. But the way that he started it was he realized he was actually in pharmaceuticals, nothing to do with finance. And he realized he wanted to build this finance business. So his first goal was, I need to figure out how I can build relationships with these business owners so that when they have financial needs, they're coming to me. And then I need to build relationships with the people who already have relationships with those business owners so that when they go to them and say, hey, I've got this need, then they come to me. And so one of those targets back then was obviously the banks who had people that they didn't want to lend to. Now he was in a unique position because a lot of the banks didn't want to deal with Jews. And he was a Jew, so he was willing to deal with Jews. So he went to the banks like, hey, all those people that you don't want to lend to, send them over to me. And then another people were the accountants. And so for me, one of the places that I went was accountants. And so I was trying to figure out like, okay, they already have a relationship with these businesses. I want to be able to do multiple things with those business owners. When those business owners want to sell, I want that person that has a relationship to refer them to me. If I don't want to buy it, and this is where most people in acquisitions are throwing away money every week, is that they're doing a bunch of deal flow, but then they're not building a kind of investment banking business that connects those businesses, if they don't want to buy them, with money and with buyers and with investors, just all those other things. And so I wanted to have those connections that if they referred the person to me, they needed access to capital, I had the relationships to provide them with capital. If they wanted to sell, I would want to be the first buyer. If not, then we would send them to, I want to have relationships with other buyers. And so, but the first question was, okay, how can I build relationships with these CPAs? And so back then, which is something, shout out to Andrew, he did a little more than 10,000 just on the financing side of things in the first half of September that we've run through the business. So in commission, I'm sorry, we've done a few $100,000 in financing, but a lot of that is through referrals. So I would go, back then, it was very old school. I realized if I'm going to build a relationship with these CPAs, then, I've got to figure out how I can come in without selling them anything. And so what I would do is I would go in, I just go talk to the secretary. It's like, hey, no, don't want to mean anything. Here's who I am. Here's my card. Here's this jar of candy. And, it's like, hey, and then if you like, I'll put my card on the thing and we'll just leave. Wouldn't meet the head of the company, wouldn't meet the, none of the accounts that I die. A couple weeks later, I come back. It's like, hey, I figured the jar is emptying and I just brought some more candy. And, if not by the second time, by the third time, it's like, well, the secretary would be like, hey, let me introduce you to everybody. And then they would ask me like, hey, what do you do? How can we help? Da, 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 da. Super low cost to be able to be personnel. I came in, I asked for a meeting, I'm trying to sell them something, da, da, da. It's a totally different thing than being taken. And obviously I'm building rapport with the secretary each time I come in. I'm not asking to get to anybody behind her or, anybody that's her boss or whatever. It's, hey, you're the person I want to meet, connecting with you. Especially if it was during taxes, like, hey, I know y'all are busy. I don't want to take away anything. It's like, hey, here's this. And I would do that with several of the accounting firms. And it was amazing for kind of that foundation of just getting my deal flow and that kind of thing. Now we get to do a lot of amazing things. We've got 4 CPAs that are members of the Actors Holdco program right now. And now we're worldwide. We've got one guy who has a firm in South Africa, in Cape Town, and in the UK. And I love CPAs because they're at the center. Like every business needs a CPA. So they are at the center because they get to see everything that's going on. So now we're building these other businesses that are complementary to their business. I mentioned Ephraim before, who we built a $1 million business that is just a subsidiary of his business, which is, just a special purpose vehicle now, but we're exiting out of kind of the first unit of that, which is a $300,000 or so exit. And the exciting thing there is that's just the tip of the iceberg. I was talking to him the other day, and we are just talking about, like, dude, like, he's like, okay, like, now I want to do this. It's like, okay, we've got to finish this, but yeah, this is absolutely just the tip of the iceberg. And what it allows us to do as deal makers is there are all of those people. There are bankers that are in that position. There are financial advisors that are in that position. I get a lot of referrals from just a financial advisor. Have a client, they're about to retire, blah, blah, blah. They need all these things set up. So that part is one of the things that's really exciting to me. So how does the alternative lending come into this? Well, when it comes to the alternative lending, there's times when it's really a lot more crucial than others. For these past 3-4 years, we've had all of the money that was flooding to market with PPP loans and just all these things. And that side of our business has done, I guess, 9 figures the last time I calculated. If you're in here, Andrew, you can tell me if that's the exact, but over the course of all that, including PPPs and everything that business has done, it's been 9 figures in financing. Well, that's great, but now we're headed into a different economic situation where it's obviously the PPPs are gone, all the scammers are getting chased after. So we're entering into a different economic period where it's going to be tougher for people to get access to capital, but the capital does exist. You just have to know where to get it. And that's what we spent a lot of our time. Now, we spent a lot of that time previously having access and building access, and it just wasn't necessary. And we're still closing SBA. We just had an SBA deal that closed, but those are going to get tougher and tougher. And so when you're able to get in the middle of deals, you have the expertise on how to get access to capital in any market. It's like, hey, if it is a great market, great, we've got those resources. If it's a bad market, great, we've got those resources. But if you're in the center of a lucrative deal, the more resources that you have to be able to get that deal done, the better. And then this final piece is, I think it's crucial to understand that, if you're getting into the business of buying business, I think that adding those 2 components to your business of buying businesses is not just a kind of great, I call it the 6-figure side hustle. It's not just a great side hustle. It's like a crucial part of your business. It's just a part of being in this world. If you look at the top people that are in private equity, they all came from investment banking. And that skill set really isn't a skill set that most people understand. And it's why there's so many people that want to buy a business that never, ever close on their very first deal. So understanding the exact steps to go after and then being able to emulate other people that are on the same path, I think is really valuable. So if you're interested in that, we also have some really great deals that are coming down the pipeline, but head over to goodmerger.com if this is a strategy and a tactic that you're interested in employing. All right, let's do a couple comments and we'll wrap up on this Friday. What's up, Tamika? Good to see you. Says, what's going on? When are you ready for Jacksonville again? I am definitely ready. We had Jay that was down there. He's now based in Atlanta again. Jay's actually one of our lead brokers at Good Merger. But no, Jacksonville was such a blast. The event that we did was so cool. It was great getting to hang out with y'all. So we got to do that soon. Darryl, what is going on, homie, from Texas? How is the business going? I would love to catch up with you soon. All right, talk to y'all soon. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Be sure to like and come hang out with us in the Patreon. Some really amazing stuff that we just went over 200 different lessons in acquisitions for $25 a month. Like, come on, man. It's just more and more constantly being added. Just gave people access to the acquisition holdco trading program, where we teach you how to add trading income to your holdco. So just amazing stuff going on. Talk to y'all soon. Later.